Привіт, зелені кіномані, в кадрі Віталій Гордієнко. 21 вересня в українських кінотеатрах вийшов фільм «Репродукція Майбутнього». В головних ролях із Емілією Кларк та Чіветелом Еджиофором. І мені випала неймовірна нагода поспілкуватися із оператором фільму Андрієм Парехом, який ще й до того ж має українське коріння, та режисеркою фільму Софі Бартес. І мені дуже хочеться, аби ви підтримали цей випуск, тому що це ексклюзивна нагода. У мене таке вже вдруге на каналі. І хочеться, щоб для українських ютуберів надавали більше таких можливостей. Можливо, в майбутньому у мене вийде взяти інтерв'ю в Тарантіно для свого каналу, але для цього треба показати, що такі речі в Україні цікаві. Тому ваша підтримка дуже важлива і, сподіваюся, ви відвідаєте фільм після цього інтерв'ю. Тож дякую і гарного вам перегляду. Ну і можете оцінити мою англійську в коментарях, якщо вам дуже це хочеться зробити.
So, hello everyone. Thanks for joining me and thanks for letting me have such a great opportunity to interview you. It's a great pleasure for me, a Ukrainian actor and a YouTuber who leads a popular channel about films and movie industry, to interview you today. We will discuss your recent movie, The Pod Generation, which comes out on the 21st of September in Ukraine. And Sophie, first of all, first question for you. In your movie, you open up a touching subject of birth giving and women's right to choose themselves or their career instead of focusing on childbearing. How do you think the world would change if the film became our reality? Do you think it's an important issue when speaking of mothers' connection with their child?
Yeah, I think it's, the whole point of the film. And I do think it's going to exist because someone contacted me actually after seeing the film in America, and he's developing the technology for artificial wombs. I could not believe the film existed. So it's going to happen. The problem is we're not ready for the consequences of what it does to the connection between child and mother. The ethical question of, is it okay to commodify the uterus and to have it as an object that's externalized from a mother's body? So my idea with the film was just to raise all those questions, in a satirical way. And but it was a bit, like Don't Look Up, the film, the Adam McKay film, where there is a very strong propensity in America to not look at the issues until the issues arrive and slam you in the face, and then you have to do something about it. So yeah, we'll see. It's going to happen one day, and it's also a metaphor of our relationship to technology in the US, where it become a very addictive thing, and instead of being a tool, it's something we're becoming slave to.
Mm-hmm. But if this was a real thing, would people use the pod or give birth in a natural way, on your opinion?
I think they will use the pod in the US, for sure. When I was pitching the film in Hollywood, every female producer was like, oh, I want a pod right away. I think they would do it because it's a society of convenience. So people would do it, and then they would realize what they've gained from it and what they've lost, in terms of human connection. But for sure, the people would do it.
Mm-hmm. You remember Don't Look Up, but by the way, I have noticed the vibe of the movie reminds me of the Black Mirror. Yeah, was it intentional? Have you heard this comparison a lot before?
I've heard a lot, but I've only seen 2 episodes of Black Mirror in my life. So I've seen the one where you have to be liked to get things in society with Bryce Dallas Howard that I really enjoyed. And I saw the first one, but I haven't been watching the whole series. But I love the concept of Black Mirror, and I think The Pod Generation is a bit more influenced by Brave New World and George Orwell, and this idea that technology can be very frightful and it's a bit of a dictatorship of the algorithm. So it's a new form of totalitarianism, but it's a cultural totalitarianism where the algorithm is dictating what you should be liking. So it was a metaphor of like how I feel today in the American society, the way we live our daily lives.
Mm-hmm. I must say that the film was very immersive, and it isn't hard to believe that all of this could really happen in the near future, which leads me to ask, which film, it's for you, Andriy, which films inspired you when it comes to the way you've filmed this piece? Sci-fi depiction is harder to do, so how did you come up with such ideas to show the future in such a way?
Huh. I would say that the film, the way that we would approach the film is basically through the emotional arc of the actors. We try to make it feel sort of as seductive as possible, this world that they're in. There is a little bit of contrast between Alvy's world of the plants and her world of the sort of business future, but also wanted to show that they're both possible, that they're both possibly interesting for people to be in, and not to make it a horrible or terrifying place. I don't know. Any?
Well, movies, I think, I loved Ex Machina, but for the texture, Her, the Spike Jonze movie, being John Malkovich, I think we were very inspired by, Gondry, Spike Jonze.
Yeah, I think but that's really the tones of the films that we like. Woody Allen.
Yeah, a lot of Sleeper, like maybe the very early Woody Allen, Everything You Wanted to Know About Sex, and Sleeper were references. But then we approach it, we're just trying to create a very extremely beautiful world in which you would want to live. And that's what you feel when you go to an Apple store. You want to buy every single computer, you want to live in there. And it's this new trend of biophilic design where they're bringing nature to the cities because people are not going to nature anymore. So they're bringing, I don't know if you have that in Kiev, where like cafes have these biophilic walls and plants everywhere. I mean, in New York, it's very much like this. And so it was also a little comment about, like when they're smelling oxygen, they're buying oxygen because everything, the nature has been commodified. And so we had fun inventing those little concepts and try to apply them visually and make the artificial intelligence an eye was something that made it cinematic, where you do look at an object. Because Her had already the voice, it was really great, like Scarlett Johansson voice for this artificial intelligence, but we couldn't do that again. So we decided to make it as an eye. So you're confused. Is this eye alive? Is it just a digital therapist? Does it have biological elements to it? So it becomes an era of confusion, I think, for people because they don't know what they're looking at. And our brain as human beings is made to love beauty and beauty from nature. So it's a tricky situation where you cannot not love it because it's made for you to love it.
It's always great to see how your two visions are combined to create something new together. But for both, this question, how do you work together? How do you plan the filming and how do you manage the whole process together? I genuinely want to know how you as a married couple cope with the working together, especially on such an idea which should be close to you personally.
We throw dishes a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, we fight less when we work than when we're in the house and who is loading the washing machine.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, the difficult thing about film and filmmaking is that it's really a circus where you are away. So this is one circus that we can both participate in together, which is very beautiful. We have a daughter, 13, so it keeps the family, now 14, keeps the family together. This is our 5th film that we've made together. Starting with Cold Souls and Madame Bovary, and now this one. We both love to travel. We both love cinema. And it's just an opportunity for us to be working together.
Cool. It's fascinating how you can use the cameras to show us how you see this idea. But explaining it to the actors should be a challenging moment. Could you describe your work dynamic with such experienced actors such as Emilieyu, Clark, and Chievetel, Eджиофором? Is there anything specific in their acting methods which makes them different from the other actors?
Yeah, I think every actor is completely different because it's, individuals working with a very specific techniques, and they bringing their soul to what they're doing. So I've only made 3 films, but I've never seen 2 actors doing the same thing or approaching material the same way. So Chiewetel is an extraordinary actor. He can do Shakespeare, from comedy, from action. He's also a director, and he arrives like super prepared. And what's funny is like he was actually expecting his first child during the shoot. So I think he had all the paternal hormones that were working.
Developing, yeah.
And he was getting very attached to this pod, and he couldn't let go of this egg. You know, it was really funny to watch. And then we had to stop the filming for a month. It was planned like this because he was becoming a father and he could be with his baby. And then he came back and then he gave birth. I don't want to spoil it, but like then there is all the scenes at the end of the film, and he was a father, and it was really beautiful to see how that affected his acting, because it felt really real, very truthful to his own experience. And Emilia has a completely different approach. She tries so many things. She's very versatile, and she likes to try many emotions in different takes. So you have to adapt as a director. I feel you're just trying to channel their emotions and energy and let them be. You can't be too controlling, I feel. Or you need to do like Kubrick or Fincher, 150 takes, and then if you do 150 takes, one is going to be good. But in a small movie like this, you don't have the luxury to do that. So it's all about the casting. Hopefully you've done your job as a director. I think it's 90% casting and 10% directing.
Okay, I will be know this information for the future.
Take on it.
Okay. Andriy, I know that you have Ukrainian heritage, and I'm glad to hear that you both support us during the war. So I have to ask, would you like to collaborate with any Ukrainian directors? Because they have been a lot of new movies coming out from the great directors. Maybe you've seen something.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen much in Ukrainian cinema recently. But of course, I would love to collaborate, have the opportunity to shoot in Ukraine with Ukrainians.
I've seen Klondike at Sundance. That was incredible. Ooh. Very, very emotional movie. And it was a female director, and it was incredible because she made that in 2014, I think. And this was already a visionary movie that was imagining what was going to happen with the invasion. And we were saying, like, when we started shooting this film, it was the first week of the invasion. And Andriy's brother is in Kiev, and they're half Ukrainian. So it was a very emotional journey for us to be shooting. It felt ridiculous to be shooting a movie while the war was going on. And it was hard to focus for Andriy especially. But yeah, our heart is with Ukraine, and we hope this madness ends soon and people can go back to their lives.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to see some recognition of Ukrainians' achievements from American actors and other public personas. As you are aware, the current situation in Ukraine can be discussed lightly, so I want to add, it's an impressive thing that your film will not be shown in Russia, which definitely gather a lot of sympathy from Ukrainian audience. Thank you. How would you describe the situation in the American film industry when it comes to Ukraine and the war? Is it discussed, or has it had any influence on people in the industry?
Yes, a lot. I mean, for this film, we fought and we forbid the film to be released in Russia. And we were like, we would not accept as filmmakers that the film could be released. And then, you know, the producers accepted, and it was great. And I think I feel the American studios and American film industry has been very supportive of Ukraine, and people are not, you know, they don't want to go around the boycott, and they're being very honest about how they feel about the war. I think it's a little bit more complicated in Europe. I'm very appalled and very sad to see that a lot of French companies are still selling movies to Russia, and a lot of profits and going around the boycott. And this makes me very ashamed because everyone is in the same boat, and we should not go around this kind of boycott just to make profits during a wartime. So it's shameful, really. And I feel sorry that it happened in Cannes, that a lot of French companies decided they were still going to sell movies to Russia. But, you know, it's you see in times of tensions and historical moments who chooses the side of history. And I'm glad that America has chose the right side.
Yeah, me too, honestly. It's very helpful right now. As an actor myself, I have to ask if you have ever considered working with Ukrainian actors, because right now a lot of Ukrainians who are in the film industry are breaking out and looking for opportunities overseas.
For sure. I mean, Andrei speaks Ukrainian fluently, so for him it would be easy to direct a film in Ukrainian with Ukrainian actors. Yeah. And I would love any opportunity to collaborate, even, you know, to come to Ukraine and whatever we could do to support the industry. But it's been amazing to see the documentaries at Sundance, 20 Days in Mariupol, and there's been incredible work coming out of Ukraine from in a time that is so harsh to be creative. But I felt the energy of the youth and the film industry is very compelling. It's pretty amazing to see the force of creation always is stronger than the force of destruction.
Yeah, I agree with you. So thanks for your answers. It's an honor to see that you support our country, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity to interview you. Your voices matter so much, and your support is vital. Actually, I have 600,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and if you want to talk to them directly and invite them to see your film, here is your chance.
Do it in Ukrainian.
Go ahead.
No, say it in Ukrainian. Okay. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, and I wish you go to see this film tomorrow and enjoy it, and we hope to come see you in Ukraine one day, and thank you so much.
Okay. Sorry, can you repeat?
Слава Україні.
Героям слава. It's so valuable that you gave me such a chance to speak with you today, and Ukrainian viewers will definitely appreciate that. Hopefully we can meet once more in a different setting, maybe even in person next time. So thank you, and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Дякую
much.
вам.